Hey, what's up? I'm about to go to the store, which is why I have my COVID-19 mask on. Otherwise, I'm at home, so why would I be wearing this? But it just hit me. I wanted to talk really quickly about my home defense philosophy, okay? Let me quickly cover again because I'm going to start a series starting Monday of next week, and I'm going to call it Marine Corps Mondays for me. And on Monday, as I go about my day and do my workouts and my, just my whole day, work, play, everything. That's going to be my day to talk about my military experience. So a lot of people ask me about my time in the Marine Corps. And so I'll cover a little bit of it real quickly. I joined at age 17 in 1984. Went to boot camp in 1985 after being on delayed entry for 1 year, which about 11 months. And I did 3 years of high school ROTC, which was leadership training and so forth. And we got to train at Fort Ord Army base up north by the Presidio and all that in Monterey. It's since been closed. I think the Presidio might still be open for the language school. The U.S. Army's language school is up there. But other than that, the 7th Infantry, which is where they are based, out of Fort Ord, California, up north, by not too far from San Francisco. They closed that base down during the Clinton base closures, like they closed down the Long Beach Naval Shipyard and some other places. But I got to train there twice. We would go there every year for Easter break for 7 days or 5 days, whatever it was. And you get to run, do the obstacle course, the airborne obstacle course, and you get some classes. You get to eat in the Army chow hall, and you stay in the Army barracks, like the Quonset huts and stuff. And for a 14, 15, 16-year-old kid, that was fun. And you're learning leadership from the Army and all that good stuff. And because of that, it was actual real training. We had to learn the ring structure. We had to salute. We had to march. We got to shoot the M16. We got to shoot the M60. And again, we learned a lot of leadership philosophies. It was a reserved officer training corps program, which led me going into the Marine Corps. And I got meritoriously promoted out of boot camp to private first class. And then went to artillery school at Fort Sill, Oklahoma for 8 weeks, where we learned about the 8-inch howitzer, the M101 Alpha Deuce, which is a 105 millimeter howitzer. We learned about the M198 howitzer, which is a 155 millimeter howitzer. We learned about the what else? There was the M114 Alpha Deuce, which we called the Pig. So those are the 4 howitzer systems that the Marine Corps used when I was still in the Marine Corps in artillery back then. The 8-inch howitzer, the M109, which is 155 millimeter, the M101 Alpha Deuce, which is 105 millimeter howitzer, and the M198. Those are the 4 howitzer systems that we learned back in 1985. I was part of the original first ever class, all Marine Corps class of artillery students at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, which is the home of artillery. It's the Army would call Red Legs. The Marine Corps taught us artillery for Marine instructors. We were on an Army base with our side of the house doing Marine Corps artillery training, and the Army did Army artillery training, which we were kind of right next to each other. So how the Army did it was you'd go to basic training at Fort Sill for 8 weeks as a soldier, graduate basic training as a United States Army soldier, and then you're right there for your artillery training, which is follow-on training to make your MOS, the artillery MOS for the Army. The Marine Corps, I went to San Diego, California for 13 weeks of boot camp, and then get 10 days off to go hang out with your family. Then they flew us to Fort Sill, Oklahoma for 8 weeks of artillery school, after which time I got sent to Camp Pendleton, California, and I did 4 years active duty, deploying to Korea, we UDP unit deployment to Okinawa, Japan for 6 months, and then part of that we went to Korea for 2 months on the DMZ, protecting against an invasion from the North because the '88 Olympics were going on and the North was talking about invading. They had boycotted the Olympics. It was a big old deal back then. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it nowadays, but during the 1988 Olympics is when De La Hoya got his gold medal for the United States, and he was being called Golden Boy. Well, I was there when that happened because I was defending the DMZ so that the U.S. So that all the countries could be in Seoul and do the Olympic Games, which were in Seoul, Korea. And it was an interesting time. I was very young, like a 20-year-old man at that time, because it was '88. Anyways, I did my 4 years active duty, got out, missed it, went back in, ended up doing 21 years, retired as a staff sergeant, artillery section chief, color guard NCO, primary marksmanship instructor. I went to school at Quantico, Virginia, which is the best place to do PMI school, I think. It's just a great place to learn that. We were taught by the Marine Corps rifle team, taught us to be instructors for rifle and pistol. Then I also had attended the Marine Corps Martial Arts Instructor Trainer School, MCMAP. Originally was called Close Combat School, and then they changed it to MCMAP, and blah, blah, blah. The MOS we had at that time was 8552. They since changed it to 0917, and it was good. It was good stuff. We learned a lot of good stuff: fighting techniques, ground fighting techniques, punches, kicks, throws, bayonet fighting, hand-to-hand combat, basically, with the Marine Corps philosophy of fighting in a combat disruptive environment where there's uneven ground and you have all your gear on. You still gotta do hand-to-hand combat and fight. A lot of fun. Let's see. So that's the basics of that. I just 21 years of excellence, had a good time. Shoot, move, communicate, throw grenades, shoot rockets, shoot artillery, shoot rifles, pistols, shotguns, machine guns. When I was on active duty, they sent me to the machine gun course in the battalion. So I went to the battalion machine gun school. Back there we had the M60 30 caliber machine gun, which 7.62 by 51 NATO round. So I became a machine gunner as well. So all this stuff, if you spend a lot of time in the military, you're going to get follow-on jobs and not just do one job for 20 years. You're going to do a lot of stuff if you're so inclined like I was. I enjoyed it. So there's my brief history of my Marine Corps career, retiring in 2006. So the tactics and training with the pistol, rifle, shotgun, stuff like that, the patrolling, the infantry patrolling, or the shooting fireworks. The infantry patrolling stuff, I really like that. I got to do 30 days in Fort Polk, Louisiana with Kilo Company from Lejeune, and we did some patrolling in the jungle with the Army's philosophy of training with blanks and real Russian helicopters for their Joint Task, or what do they call it? JSOC or something like that. It's the Army's combat readiness evaluation for their troops. So they do 30 days, roughly 30 days. It was like 28 days in the field, and you do a lot of good training. You attack, you're expected to follow your SOP. If you're a ranger, if you're airborne ranger, if you're 82nd Airborne, the OPFOR or the opposing force has a copy of your SOP, and they're going to use that as a way to test you. But that was good stuff. I just can't think of the name of this. Joint something. Anyways, I was one of the combat controllers, so I had a God gun, and we got to travel around. I was assigned to the mortar section. Then they assigned me to snipers. That was fun, and I got to do some OJT with the sniper teams, and I got to go on patrols with the sniper teams, and had a good time with that. And those guys were really good, and so I learned a lot about sniping. I already knew marksmanship because of my PMI training, primary marksmanship instructor training. So I already knew the rudiments of bone support, breathing, relaxing, and sight alignment, sight picture. All those things I instructed that because I'm an expert with the rifle, expert with the pistol multiple times. But the patrolling and the mindset and the philosophy of being a Marine Corps sniper, that had to be taught to me by two well-trained snipers. There was a corporal and a sergeant, and they were a sniper team, and I got assigned to them, and I got to patrol with them, and I picked up a ton of knowledge on how to patrol within that sniper team mindset. And they were very great, generous to help me. And when I asked a lot of questions about sniping and that their MOS, which is their MOS back then, at least it was called 8541. Primary marksmanship instructor, we were 8531s for marksmanship instructors. So got some great sniper training, got to handle the M40 A2 sniper rifle. I think it's an M40 A3 now. There's so many different rifles out there, Sassers and the Barrett and all that good stuff, and the Mark 12 Mod 0, which is like a designated marksman's rifle, which is basically the best shooter in your squad would get that weapon, and he's like your squad sniper. So I was actually that. I was the designated marksman of my unit.